Michael.
Hi. No, well, you've done it in the way, but this happened last week. I'm going to go first, and then you go, okay? Hi.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, Rich.
How's things?
How are you?
How
I'm
you
good.
doing?
Oh, for goodness sake, this is awful already.
I don't really care. I don't care how well you are. I've seen you every single day this week, I feel like.
You have. You saw me last night. I feel like, not in person, just to add, but you saw me on a Zoom call yesterday, and you might see me every day. This is the second day you've seen me. I'm so sorry that I'm this annoying to look at.
So, should we introduce our guest?
I think we really should before we start bickering.
We're joined by Bryan Cosgrove.
Hello. Good evening.
How's things?
Oh, you know, things are great. Things are great. I'm stuck in the house.
I'm tired of being in the house. Although I was at work today, and I got given 7 take-home COVID tests, so...
I saw your post on Instagram about it. You were very excited.
No, not really. I kind of thought they were like pregnancy tests for a bit, but they're nowhere near as exciting. So
No, we managed to snaffle some from a friend who's a paramedic at Christmas time, so that when we saw our families at Christmas, we could be extra sure we weren't going to kill them. And yeah, it was a bit of a celebration. We had a glass of wine, did our tests.
have you done the self-test, or have you been tested for COVID? It's horrible.
We signed up for the ONS survey, so we get done. Well, we were getting done every week, but we now get done every month. And somebody comes to our doorstep.
What about the COVID testing?
Oh, yeah, that too. We do that afterwards. But I swear to God, the swabs get bigger and bigger and bigger every time. But
what about the testing? Still going. Sorry,
I can't. I thought I was working with professionals here.
Yeah, well, I was going to say if you met Michael, you haven't. So this gives you an
I
idea of what he's like.
You said that Bryan was pulling the speaker at Pride, so I think I must have come near you.
Oh yeah, but I was just in a little world of my own. I was just in I just had the music. That was it. And all the lesbians that were dancing around me, I was just like a magnet for dancing lesbians.
Well, it's one way to live.
That was so long ago, though, Manchester Pride.
That does feel like an absolute age ago, doesn't it?
It really does.
Well, it is, because it was 2019. I'm thinking about it as if it was 2020, but obviously it wasn't. So it's 2019. So that is actually an age ago. But
it was a great turnout as well, though. It was about 100 of us almost. I think over the course of the day, we had 100 ODL people turn up and do something.
There weren't the helps, but James really, really pulled it out, though, and he did a great job of organising that event with the props and everything.
Oh, the kayak, yeah. The rainbow kayak.
And the speaker on the bike, and yeah, he went crazy for we were all wearing like I think we did the year before, we were wearing like our climbing harnesses, and yeah. That was quite cool. But yeah, at the end of it, he was still like, "I'm not happy. I want next year. I was like, "Don't go overboard." He was on about having like pulling along like a climbing board on a float with someone climbing up it, and I was just like, "No, let's not," because I think someone's gonna break a leg at the end of it. So no.
So my first thing I was going to ask you about this, because I hadn't realised this until you mentioned it yesterday, that ODL has done conservation events before. So I was madly Googling, and I found 2 that came up. And I've never heard of one of these places, but one in May 2019, which was forest conservation work in Glenafric, and another one in 2017, rewilding Dundregan. I don't know where Dundregan is.
We've done more than that. We've done a couple events more than that. Oh, it feels an age ago now, but I used to work full time for a forest conservation project up in the north of Scotland. I studied in Scotland as a student, as an undergrad, and then went on to work for this project. It's called Trees for Life. And I mean, it's a very, very simple, straightforward project. They basically just want to reforest a massive chunk. I mean, their original target area was something like 6,000 hectares, I think it was, of wild hill land. And they just want to reforest that and bring trees back to that. There haven't been any trees in a lot of that land since the Iron Age, but anyway, it's, over the years, it's got more and more degraded. And that's it. So after I moved back to Manchester and joined OutdoorLads, and I was looking for ways to connect the bits of my world together, it just seemed an obvious thing to try to get OutdoorLads to come and do some projects up there. And my vision was, when I started doing it, was that we would have a dedicated, exclusively OutdoorLads group of guys away doing conservation. The way it works is that 12 people go away, stay in some basic accommodation, like a small bothy. For anyone who knows what a bothy is, just a really, really basic house, right out in the middle of nowhere. My favourite place to work is Glen Affric, which is, I know Rob was talking about Glen Affric on his chat last week. So we'll take a group away, meet them at Inverness railway station, drive them out into the middle of nowhere with all their stuff, and then we feed them for a week and show them how to use all the tools, and we just spend our daytimes out doing replanting of trees. So, but when we have done that with Outdoor Lads, it's ended up being about 50-50. And each time that's happened, I've been quite glad of it, because I've been quite glad that there's been some, sensible, straight, mixed, mixed background people there to kind of balance it all out, because sometimes it has got a bit bum pinchy and a little bit innuendo-y. And that isn't me. That's not me.
Of course.
What would you be doing on a conservation weekend, whatever it would be?
Mostly planting trees, but not exclusively. So we also get fences then, a really good way of making sure that sheep and deer don't access land that you've just planted, or land where there is already a seed source, so you don't need to plant into it, you just need to fence it and the trees will come of their own accord. But when those fences have outgrown their usefulness, they actually become not only an eyesore, but they become a hazard for low-flying birds. So red grouse, black grouse, capercaillie, so they become a hazard then. So what we would do is go in with our volunteer groups, go and actually dismantle those fences. And it doesn't sound very sexy, but it's really, really satisfying.
Oh, I can imagine.
For anyone who likes any sort of fiddly work where, there's different jobs that need to be done. And at the start of the week, no one knows what they're doing. But then after a while, through the day, through the first day of doing it, everyone finds a little niche. So somebody will be undoing the little staples, somebody will be rolling up the wire, and you end up just working in this kind of harmony.
I guess it's quite like mindfulness, isn't it, really? Because you're doing the same thing after a while.
Oh, completely. And the best thing is that, by lunchtime or by tea break or biscuit break, you can have a look back and you can see that you've, cleared not miles, but meters and of
not miles, meters. Yeah. But that does sound amazing. Like I'm surprised that you're saying that you didn't get as big a turnout for events like that, because that sounds
as I say, so the group sizes are between 10 and 12. Volunteers have to pay because it all contributes to the running of the organization. It's quite an expensive thing to run. We have to pay for the accommodation and all of that. So it's a working holiday. So you'd have to be really into it and have the money to be able to pay for it. So it's like 300 quid a week or something like that. So that's not everyone is that keen for that. But what we do when we run it is we keep it as an exclusive Outdoor Lads event. We advertise it. And then after a certain day, if it's not full, then it gets opened up to the general public. Yeah. And we were due to run one this year, but of course, COVID stopped play.
So I did something similar, but it wasn't necessarily conservation work, but I was when I lived in Australia, I did woofing, which is you work on an organic farm. And you don't get paid, but they give you your free accommodation, your free food and things. And I somehow ended up on an apple orchard in Tasmania, ran by two gays who were absolutely lovely. They really helped me come on my shell. They were dead lovely. And we spent the entire day. I know we won't go into those details. But I spent the entire week pulling up irrigation pipes because they were getting rid of the irrigation pipes and do that. And I know what you mean. It's like I felt like I had got rid of miles and miles and miles of it, and it was like 2 rows. Yeah. But we spent the entire day just sat talking, me and one of the guys, and he was dead lovely. And time just passes, and you're out in the countryside, and it's lovely.
I was going to say, because that sounds like, because sometimes a working holiday, as much as that sounds like, why would I want to spend 300 quid to go somewhere to undo a fence, but sometimes with events like that, when you tie in things like the social aspect, the sense of achievement of doing something, really getting your hands dirty with something, and then also just being able to have a nice big dinner later and chill out that evening and all that sort of stuff. It all rolls in. Like when I mentioned the boat trip a few weeks ago, on that, it was amazing because I think on something like the second day, we were woken up at like 6 to them playing whatever the music was. It was something really cheesy and annoying and really upbeat, which I don't like first thing in the morning. And they were saying, come on, everyone get out of bed, because this is every other day we all clean the boat from top to bottom. And so it was then just everyone, you know, and I'm talking about getting you around in the toilet and all sorts of stuff, and you know, properly clean everything, which at home wouldn't be like a yay, this is a fun, exciting activity to do. But because we were all new to each other and it was a social thing, and we knew we were doing it for the good of, because it was our living space, it was just this really exciting, like, fun.
Well, that's exactly it, and that's a big part of it. So yeah, there's the whole you know, the feeling good that you've made a contribution, you know, that you're doing something positive for the environment, as somebody who loves the environment, as we all are, right? Because we spend all of our free time outside in it. That is, you know, the big sell. But the thing that people love the most, and the thing that is really, you know, there's so much pleasure to be got from it, is the social aspect. So everyone working closely together, you know, complete strangers at the beginning of the week, often, usually. We provide all the food in that we buy the food and we take it there. But it's everyone's responsibility to, you know, everyone has to take a turn in cooking it. The same, well, maybe not quite as strict in a little house as it is on a boat, but yeah, we have to make sure that it's clean and tidy and everyone can move around and all the rest of it. And then once all the work is done in the evenings, particularly working in Glen Affric, Dundregan, you mentioned that's the headquarters of Trees for Life, and that's actually quite plush. And I don't like working there too much, because that's like a house that's got electricity and but working out in Glen Affric or one of the other remote sites where it's, you know, really, really basic accommodation, you know, someone's got to chop firewood, someone's got to, you know, someone's got to go and get water from the river. The water all has to be boiled and prepared, and there's so many little tasks that need to be done once we've come back from tree planting. And this sounds exhausting, and I don't want to do that, but it is fantastic, because then when you do get to rest, there's, you know, people are telling stories, and everyone has a little different skill that they bring along with them. Sometimes there's music and good stories, and people just sharing their experiences. And we had a really, really good time 2019.
Yeah.
The last one that we did.
It doesn't, and I know what you're saying about worrying that, you know, I don't want it to sound like it's too much hard work or anything like that, but when it's got that social aspect and you know that you're doing something really good at the same time, I think it takes that edge off it. You don't feel like it's not like it's a week away where it's like, okay, everybody, now we're here. Everyone sit by your computer. We're going to be formulating an Excel spreadsheet. I mean, I know a few.
I would love that weekend, though.
Absolutely love that. But for the main, you know, aspect, you're getting outside, you're doing something really social, but something really active. You know, it's not just. I love a walk. I love a hike. You know, I love Big Spring Camp when we do like the, you know, the bounce below, the, you know, trampolining in the caves and things like that. Going coast steering or going, you know, kayaking. All that sort of stuff is really fun. But I also do like, you know, I think I like that Outdoor Lads is not only something that's enjoying the outdoors, but also passionately enthusiastic about maintaining the outdoors and being.
Well, there was an event, I think it was last year. I couldn't go on, and I was quite annoyed. But it was conservation of stone walls, and I can't remember where it was.
Oh, it's in North Yorkshire.
Yeah, I would love to do that. I mean, stone walls have been there for bloody years, and I was like, I'd love to walk past and go, I've made that.
But I mean, it's a skill, and to learn a new skill, you know, that's such a lot of fun. You get to spend quality time and a decent amount of time out somewhere that's absolutely beautiful. And for those of us who live in cities, you know, it's absolutely invaluable. So to spend a week with a mountain out of that window, a mountain over there, a mountain behind you, the stream running past every day, and then you get a day off halfway through as well on these Trees for Life events, so that are completely, you know, up to you what you do with it, and you can just head up the mountains, head into the forest. It's absolutely superb. But as well, just going back to the satisfaction thing as well, I just wanted to make sure that whatever Rob was saying about Glen Affric last week, the last time I was in Glen Affric with Rob, as we were walking along to the youth hostel, which is right at the far end of the Glen, we went past this patch of ground that was just covered in little pine trees and had birds tweeting in it. And that was actually an area that we'd planted back in 97 or something like that.
Wow.
And that was to see that because it's quite wild, bleak land out there, just lots of sedges and heather, and it's quite rough. And then to see that there's a new young woodland actually forming there that we'd brought in, that we'd contributed to. That was that's really, really awesome.
It is funny because I remember at primary school we had to go and do like a little. I don't think it was anything as extreme as a week away with your hands in the mud, but it was something like we all had to go and put some seeds in the ground and plant a tree or something to that extent, whatever it was. And that was, that area now I've been back to that's like 20 years ago or whatever. I've been back to that area since, like a park, and there is some, quite small, but there are trees there. And I do look over there and think, one of them's mine. I've got my name on that. I put the seeds in that one. And there is a feeling of like, again, that is not the same as going and doing a week away somewhere, but there is a feeling of satisfaction and knowing that you've put your hands in the ground and made something grow.
It's the same thing. It's an extension of the same thing, though. It's that connection with nature. It's really, really important. And that's so now that I'm all grown up now and live in this big city. I actually work for a conservation project in Greater Manchester, and what we do, we're called City of Trees, and we plant trees all around Greater Manchester. I personally don't do that much tree planting. I just kind of make maps and play around with spreadsheets, but that is what we do. And we do community events as well. And I'm not quite sure why I haven't done it yet, but there's no reason why I can't get Outdoor Lads to have just a single day event, because we do community tree planting events all over Wigan, Stockport, Trafford, Bolton. And right now we're in the middle of, we just started, in fact, a program, a DEFRA funded program called Trees for Climate. So to help the government meet its tree planting target of 30,000 hectares per year for the next whatever years. So we're actually contributing to that. So we're planting far more trees than we've ever. We're designing new woodlands far more than we have done in the past. So there should be, once we're allowed to go back out and hang outside again, we should be able to do loads more stuff like that. There's going to be loads of opportunity around Greater Manchester, at least. There are other community forest areas that I can direct people to if they're interested.
How do you always end up with all the random events? So what I mean by that is you've got all the water sport events and a lot of the kind of snowboarding, skiing things. And I was like going through the list, like, oh, that's Bryan. Oh, there's Bryan again. There's Bryan again. So I couldn't work out why it was you, unless you just got a massive interest in all these things.
It's mostly because I'm really indecisive, and I can never really settle on one thing that I'm interested in. I used to be right into mountain biking, and I haven't been on my bike for years and years. Yeah, that's quite funny. Maybe I just am a bit random. But the water sports, that's not my thing. So I did that. A couple of summers ago, so 2019, I guess, the last time we did anything exciting. But I guess it was because I was working in an office right next to Salford Quays, and I used to cycle past the water sports centre there, and I just thought that looked great, and I wanted to get a little bit better at water sports, so I took on some of those events.
Well, those ones are great because you get because one of the centre staff leads it anyway, isn't it? So you can really, if you're leading, you just sit back and take part in the games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, have you done it, Rich?
Oh, yeah. And someone in Outdoor Lads, who shall remain nameless, I did not pick up what he was doing to me until about an hour in, and he was constantly flicking water at me and like, oh, stop doing that. Not realizing he wasn't aiming for me. He's been aiming for my kayak the entire time. And very slowly but surely, I was just sinking into Salford Quays.
He's a very naughty man.
He's extremely annoying.
I think I sank about 4 or 5 times. You just have to grab it and swim to the side, and then with my weak little arms try and lift it out, so that then Phil would come over and like lift it all out and pour all the water out, and I was, submerged. Yeah. The one mistake I made on that event, and I am still embarrassed about it to this day, is that it said in the details, and I wish I just, oh God, I felt so stupid. It said, bring 2 pairs of shoes. And I stupidly, or it said something like, bring a spare pair of shoes. And for some stupid reason, I didn't. So I wore 1 pair of like trainers, got there, and they were like, well, you will need to go in the water in your trainers because you can't go in barefoot. And I was like, okay. So went in with this pair of trainers. I'm thinking, I'm sure there's a pair of shoes in the car. We did the event. It was really good fun and everything like that. Finished, realized as soon as we all got showered and everything, I didn't have a spare pair of shoes. And everyone was going to the pub afterwards. And I was quite new into ODL, and I wanted to be social and have a good pint with everyone. So I ended up having to get 6 members to walk around me in a circle so I could walk into the pub and sit down while everyone bought me a drink because I was barefoot in this pub because I'd forgotten to bring a spare pair of shoes. I felt like, right, idiot.
But, yeah. That is exactly what you would do.
Yeah. Do you know, the other thing that they do at the Water Sports Centre there, and I did run this as an event, but nobody turned up, was open water swimming. So Saturdays and Wednesdays, they have, open water swimming there. And the water is really, surprisingly, given that it's connected to the Irwell, it's absolutely spotless.
That one's cleaned, isn't it? The one that they do the open water swimming in, it's been cleaned.
That's where they do the big North Swim. So yeah, it's all quite clear there, I think.
It's fab, yeah. It's really, really good. And the open water swimming there is really, I mean, it feels pretty bloody exciting. You know, it's deep water. You can't see the bottom. You're outside swimming.
That just sounds terrifying rather than exciting, but you know.
Yeah, it terrifies me because it's like it's all really, really dark water, and that scares me.
Yeah, no, but I mean, if you give it a go though, you know, if you actually get in, and they've got loads of staff there to kind of keep an eye on things when they run it. But I think maybe there's been such a lot of talk about wild swimming and open water swimming over winter. It just seems to have gone crazy in the media. The Guardian and never shut up about it. So I wonder if that's going to, people will be a little bit more interested this year. So I'll be more than happy to put on some events again.
No one's been swimming, have they? They can't go swimming, so loads of people have been outdoor swimming, and taking it up.
I'd hope so, because I've read a book once about like a Lido, and it said that it's like one of the most, like, it's one of the best ways. It's like 3 times better than having a coffee in the morning to wake up, to go and swim in like a cold.
I believe it, but I'm one of those people. I need a coffee just to open my eyes to even get down the stairs. So.
Oh yeah, I make this plan every night at about 9 p.m. I'm gonna have an early night. I'm gonna get up in the morning at 6 in the morning, get my running gear on, and go out for a jog. And I swear I will stay on TikTok until 1 a.m. and then I'll wake up at 9 the next day, like, and I'll do a 10-minute gym workout, and that'll be my workout for today.
Have we got any mail this week, Michael?
I'm not sure. Shall I have a look in the post box?
Yeah, go on then.
Oh, we've got one voice clip.
One of my great memories of OutdoorLads was way back in the early years of being as a member. We went from Fort William to Drumrocket, canoeing down the Great Glen. And just the sheer freedom that it involved of being out there, camping, what we thought was going to be wild camping, but at every point we came to that seemed to be an appropriate point, had a campsite, showers, and very gay convenient, as they would say. We did do one night of absolute wild camping, and the memory was just amazing. Some of the views and the sheer vastness of Loch Ness, absolutely amazing. Skiing out in Outdoors, got dressed up by some IDL members, and then, well, the rest is history. I really look forward to getting more involved with OutdoorLads again. So many friends and so many memories. I look forward to years to come.
If you've got an idea for something you want to say to us, a voice clip, maybe one of your favourite OutdoorLads memories, then go to the OutdoorLads website, About Us, find the OutdoorLads the podcast, and there'll be a form for you to fill out to send us some content.
If you're a member of ODL and you fancy becoming a leader, why don't you have a look online at the website, About Us, Become a Leader. So, Bryan, you are currently signed up for I can never pronounce this properly, so apologies to Welsh people, to the Betty Sequoiad. Is that right? Is that how you say it? Anyway, the trail run around there in the mountains. My first question is why, and the second question is, what is it? What do you do?
So I'm not the trail runner. I am not the competitive trail runner. There's quite a few in the group who are very, very good at trail running, but I dabble with it, like I dabble with many things. I haven't actually been running for 2 years because I've got old man knees now. So, and I'm just trying to build back up to it. So I'm really very much hoping that by the time November comes around, I'll be fit again, fit enough. But the way it works though at Betty Sequoiad is that it's a fairly informal, mostly informal trail run. So it's all off road. So you're running around forestry tracks. And the way the weekend works, I've not even been on it yet myself, but the way the weekend works is that we have a social alongside it. So everyone meets, at lunchtime to get ready and then go off and start the run. the run, the run goes off, everyone runs around the forest. And if you've never been to Betws-y-Coed before, it's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful part of the world. Because there are just trees everywhere. You see, I like trees. But it's beautiful trails. It's a really, really beautiful place through the forest park. And then in the evening, everyone can go off then and get washed and rest and recover. And then in the evening, there's a social event at one of the pubs in the village. So it ends up being quite a good event. And then there's quite often, I think, things on the Sunday as well. So people will lead walks and.
How are you not knackered after it? I couldn't go on a walk.
Huh?
How can you go on a walk after all that?
Well, I mean, it depends how hard you run, doesn't it? It's
walking at best, me.
We've done a couple of in the Lake District. There's a series of runs called the Lakeland Trails, and we've ran them before as well as ODL events. But, just as social events to see who was around. 2 years ago, there was a group of us went to Transylvania. We went to Romania. Well, they did a marathon, and then when I got there and saw what the course was like, I hastily went to the event staff and was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I might have made the mistake. I think I meant to sign up for the half marathon, not the full marathon." Honestly, because I can't remember it was like a 1,800 meter climb on the full marathon, and I just thought, hell no. I mean, I dabble with a bit of running, but it certainly wasn't up for that.
Right, we're going to finish with a small game, and it's a rubbish game, but it's not. Anyway, the two of you are going to play against each other, and there's maximum 5 points per round. You have to guess where in the world I am. If you get it on the first clue, then you get 5 points, down to 1 point if you get it on the last.
Altrincham.
Well, don't give away my exact location, Mike. I don't know what the creeps outside. Right. So we'll start off with a fairly easy one. So if you think you know the answer, then you can shout out. And once someone gets it right, I'll give them the points.
Okay.
So I'm near some island in a huge city. It's going well. Right. Let's go to the next set of clues. I can see this absolutely massive woman.
Oh, New York.
There you are. Right, there you go. That's 4 points.
So I zoned out for the beginning of your explanation.
I zone out whenever Rich starts talking, so I wouldn't worry.
All right, I couldn't think of anything else to play this week. Right, next one. I'm hoping you'll listen to this one, Brian, because honestly, I don't think Michael's going to get it. But
I'm geographically thick, so I'm happy I've got one. That'll do for me. Go on.
Right. Someone landed a plane up there in 1926. Every day, no matter what the weather is, someone is paid to climb up this mountain.
Oh, Helvellyn.
There you go. 4 points to Brian. The other ones there for people playing along at home were 950 meters above sea level. On top of the UK, it's the UK's second favourite mountain, and people often get up there using Striding Edge. So the next one, the first fact is the most disposable bedpans in the world are made in this place. Ellis Lowry's Going to the Match was painted here. Nope, we're doing well. The ice cream wafer sandwich was invented there as well.
Oh, is that? Oh no, I'm thinking Maggie Thatcher. She did the Mr. Whippy.
Yeah, well, apparently.
Oh yeah, as a chemist, yeah.
Reebok was founded here in 1958.
Bolton.
Yes, there you go.
Where?
That one was specifically for you. I'm a last again.
So I'm giving away your Altrincham. You can give away I'm Bolton. Yay, fine, done.
People here mispronounce birthday as well, so that was my last fact.
Was that the final clue? Birthday?
Yeah.
You get angry at the way I say the word birthday.
And rightly so as well, given how crap it is.
And saying the way you say Moors. Oh, I went up Moors.
Come from the Moors. Moors is fine. Like it's owned by me. I'm a Moors person.
But sounds like a group of cows. I don't agree with it.
Pipe down, you twat. Right. So, 2 more to go. It's the only place in the UK that you can bungee jump from a bridge. Sydney Harbour Bridge was built here. The local cuisine is a chicken parmo.
Newcastle.
No.
What?
That's offensive.
What?
A Prime Minister once described this place as an infant Hercules, and it's the birthplace of Captain Cook.
Oh yeah. Well, I was close, wasn't I? It's the northeast.
It's Middlesbrough. That's my hometown. Neither of you get into that. So I tried to put a bit of culture. That's the only culture I could find at Middlesbrough. The last one. I'm in a place that was originally developed in 1804. Second clue. I'm surrounded by people throwing up. Third clue. You won't find any cars down here, but maybe a boat. 4th clue. I'd say it was very colourful down here. Well, you're both doing shit at this, aren't you? Over the bridge, there's a big garden with a memorial. Bloody hell. I didn't think that was hard, that one. It's bloody like Canal Street. Oh, this game's shit, isn't it? Right, fine. Well, you can keep that bit in. Just me failing miserably at making a game this week.
I was thinking because one of them was because the first one was America, so I was thinking you've picked all UK and America.
I said I started easy. I didn't say there was a theme. Well, it provided me with some
That's a good round. I think you should do that again. I think that's a clever round. I enjoyed it. They were all shit, but I enjoyed it.
I know who's in charge of editing. He'll say do it again and then just cut it out. So
yeah.
So thank you very much, Bryan, for joining us this week.
Well, I'm so sorry for being a little bit late, and thank you.
Oh, don't worry. Well, that's the end of episode 4. Join us next week when you'll hear our conversation with Skip Evans. Don't forget to head over to OutdoorLads.com and donate.
This podcast was recorded by Michael Amer and Rich Laverick, and the music's by Scott Holmes.